I worked as a security guard at a small hospital on the edge of town. The building was half empty most nights, the upper floors closed since funding cuts. My job was simple: patrol every floor twice a night, check the cameras, and file a short report before dawn. The first week was quiet. I'd drink bad coffee, walk the empty halls, and scroll through my phone until morning. But one night, around 2:30 a.m., I started hearing something. It wasn't loud, just a faint tapping, like someone gently knocking on a door from far down the corridor. The hospital's pipes made noises all the time, so I ignored it. But then the sound moved, from the east wing to the west, slowly, like footsteps following me. When I checked the cameras, everything looked normal. Hallways empty, elevators still. Except one camera on the fourth floor. The floor that was supposed to be closed showed a light flickering. I called upstairs to the duty nurse. She said no one was assigned up there, and the power had been cut off weeks ago. I didn't want to go, but it was my job. The fourth floor smelled like dust and old medicine. Most rooms were locked. As I walked past room 417, I heard the tapping again, louder this time. I shined my flashlight through the window. Empty. Then I noticed something strange. The hospital bed inside was slightly pulled away from the wall, as if someone had been standing behind it. I checked my radio. Static. Not a word from the nurse's station. Then the lights flickered again, just once. In that half-second flash, I saw a figure, pale, thin, standing at the end of the corridor. When the lights steadied, the hallway was empty. I told myself it was fatigue, maybe my eyes playing tricks. I'd been up since noon the day before, but as I turned to leave, I heard something that froze me. It was a woman's voice, soft, weak, coming from room 417. I hesitated. "Hello? This floor's closed. You shouldn't be here." No reply, just breathing. Slow, raspy breathing. I pushed the door open, and the room was empty. No one there. No open windows. No sign of life. Only that same hospital bed, now pushed back against the wall. I left the floor fast. Back at the security office, I checked the camera again. Room 417's door was now wide open, even though I'd shut it. And on the screen, faintly visible in the dark, was the shape of someone standing by the bed. Just standing still. I saved the footage, but when I came back the next night, my supervisor told me the file was corrupted. Nothing but black static. He smiled, said I'd probably seen reflections or sensor glitches. Maybe he was right. Still, I asked him one thing before leaving. Why is that floor closed, anyway? He hesitated, then shrugged. Fire damage years ago. Mostly smoke. One patient didn't make it out. Room 417, I think. That was 3 months ago. I still work nights, but not there. Sometimes, around 2:30 a.m., when everything's quiet, I catch myself listening for that faint tapping sound, just to make sure it's not coming from behind me. Let's move on to the next horror story. I moved into my new apartment last November, a small place on the 3rd floor of an old building downtown. The rent was cheap, the neighbors quiet, and the manager, Mr. Klein, lived 2 doors down. It wasn't perfect, but for someone working night shifts like me, it was all I could afford. Most nights, I'd get home around 2 or 3 a.m. The building would be silent, except for the humming of pipes and the occasional sound of the elevator creaking. But about 2 weeks after moving in, I started hearing footsteps. They came from the apartment directly above mine, slow, steady pacing from one end of the ceiling to the other. At first, I didn't think much of it. People have weird sleep schedules. But the strange thing was, the footsteps only happened after 3 a.m. and always stopped at exactly 3:33. One night, curiosity got the better of me. I asked Mr. Klein about the tenant upstairs. He frowned. "No one's living above you right now," he said. "That unit's been empty since the last fire inspection. Leaky pipes, unfit for rent." I laughed it off, but I could tell he wasn't joking. That night, I decided to record the sound. Around 3:15 a.m., it started. Slow steps, heel to toe, crossing the ceiling right above my bed. Then the sound of something dragging, like furniture scraping the floor. I checked the clock. 3:33. The noise stopped. When I listened to the recording the next morning, my stomach turned. The audio was faint, but clear. Footsteps, then breathing, and at the very end, a whisper. It said my name. I didn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? I started sleeping with the lights on, earbuds in. But the noise kept coming. And one night, I noticed something worse. The ceiling had a faint, dark stain, like water damage, right where I heard the steps the loudest. It spread over the next few days. Mr. Klein said he'd send someone to check it out, but no one ever came. A week later, I woke up around 3 a.m. The sound was louder than ever, pacing, dragging, and now, a rhythmic knocking. I stared at the ceiling, heart pounding, when something small and cold dripped onto my cheek. It was water, or at least I thought it was. I turned on the light. The stain was darker, almost black, and the air smelled metallic, like rust or old coins. That was the last straw. I ran upstairs and banged on the door of the empty unit. No answer. But when I pressed my ear against the wood, I heard breathing, deep, ragged, and close, just on the other side. I reported it the next morning. Mr. Klein didn't look surprised. He just sighed. "Don't worry about it. That apartment's sealed now. Nobody should be able to get in." He turned to leave, but before he did, I noticed something in his hand. A small brass key labeled 304. That's the apartment above mine. I moved out the next day. But sometimes, when I pass by that old building on my way home, I still see the top floor light flickering, just for a moment, right at 3:33 a.m. Let's move on to the next horror story. I work from home, so I'm usually up late. Around midnight, I like sitting by the window with a cup of coffee, just watching the empty park. But a few months ago, I started noticing something strange. At first, it was just a man, standing near the swings. He'd appear around 12:30 every night. Tall, still, not moving, just standing there. I thought maybe he was a night jogger or someone cutting through the park. But he never moved, never left footprints in the snow, and when I blinked or looked away, he'd be gone. One night, curiosity got the best of me. I grabbed my phone and zoomed in with the camera. The park light flickered as I focused, but I swear I saw his face. Or rather, I didn't. His face looked blurred, like the camera couldn't focus on it. The next morning, I checked the footage. Nothing there, just the empty swings swaying gently, though there was no wind. I tried ignoring it, but it got worse. Some nights, I'd hear the creak of the swing chains from across the street, slow, steady. And every time I looked out, both swings were moving, but the park was empty. Then, one night, I saw something new. A small figure next to him, a child. They stood side by side, facing my house. That night, didn't sleep. I shut the curtains and kept every light on. By morning, the swings were still, but the footprints in the frost showed 2 sets of prints leading toward the park gate, and none leading out. I finally told my neighbor, Mrs. Dwyer. She's lived here since the 70s. She looked pale when I described them. "You shouldn't watch that park after midnight," she said. "There was an accident there years ago. A father and his daughter, hit by a drunk driver. They used to play on those swings. I didn't want to believe her, but it explained everything. Still, I had to know if it was true. So last week, I stayed up again. Same time, 12:30 a.m. The man and the child were there, exactly where they always stood. I turned on my porch light, trying to see clearer. That's when both of them turned, together, and faced me. The child lifted an arm and waved, slowly, like she knew me. The man didn't move, but his head tilted, just slightly, as if he was studying me. Then the park lights flickered out completely. When they came back on, the park was empty. I didn't see them again after that. But now, every morning, I find small footprints on my porch, leading up to my door, then stopping, just stopping. And every night since, at 12:30 sharp, my porch light flickers once, like someone's waiting for me to look outside. Let's move on to the next horror story. When you're a broke college student, you stop being picky about jobs. That's how I ended up working nights at the county mortuary. The pay was great, double what I made delivering food, and all I had to do was watch over things, as the manager, Mr. Dawson, put it. He said the security system wasn't working properly, so they needed someone on site overnight. Nothing to worry about, he'd said. Just paperwork and peace. Peace, sure. That was before the noises started. My shift ran from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The place was cold, silent, and smelled faintly of disinfectant. There were 12 storage units in the back, metal drawers with tags. I tried not to look at them. Mostly, I sat in the small office, studying or scrolling through my phone. The first few nights were fine, but on Thursday, around 2 a.m., I heard something. A soft click, like one of the metal drawers unlatching. I froze. The sound came again, a low metallic creak, like a door slowly opening. I told myself It was temperature change, metal expanding, whatever excuse I could find. But then came the sound of footsteps, slow, dragging, on the tile floor. When I stepped into the corridor, the lights flickered once. Just once. Long enough for me to see that one of the drawers, number 7, was slightly open. I forced myself to close it. The tag hanging from the handle said, "John Doe, found near the riverbank." I shut it firmly, told myself I was imagining things, and went back to the office. I even laughed about it. Stress and lack of sleep, that's all. But when I sat down, the office computer screen lit up by itself. On it, a single line of text appeared from the mortuary database. Drawer 7, status changed. I didn't touch anything. The line blinked again, changing to Drawer 7, occupied, active. I swear I could feel my pulse in my teeth. I grabbed my phone to call Mr. Dawson, but there was no signal inside. Then the intercom crackled. Static at first. Then a voice. Low, broken, like air passing through a damaged speaker. "Why did you close it?" I turned off the intercom and bolted for the exit, but the door wouldn't open. It needed a key card, and mine was still in the office. When I went back for it, the drawer room was dark, completely dark, but I could hear breathing, slow, wet, close. I shut my eyes and repeated to myself, "This isn't real. This isn't real." And then from right beside me, a whisper, "Neither am I." I must have blacked out, because the next thing I remember, it was morning. The sun was coming through the blinds, and the mortuary was quiet again. Mr. Dawson was furious. He said I left the lights on all night, scattered files everywhere, and the drawer tags were mixed up. I tried to explain, but he just shook his head. "You must have fallen asleep. Happens all the time." I quit that day, but a week later, curiosity made me check the local news. There was a small piece about the mortuary. Equipment malfunction leads to mistaken identification. They'd found a drawer left slightly open. Drawer number 7. The report said the tag had been removed, and no one could find the body. That's all for today. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe. See you guys in the next video.